Hello. Don't know whether you can see me, don't know whether you can hear me, not sure about anything to be fair, but I thought I would come on and do a little sketch because I'm going to sketch this little pepper here. And the reason I am doing this is because I just want to have a little chat about sketching and scary sketchbooks. So this is my scary sketchbook. It is a beautiful, beautiful leather handmade sketchbook with inside is parchment. It might be vellum, I'm not altogether sure. It's very waxy feeling to it. And I've had this for a little while, but because it is so pretty, it's so pretty that I've not actually done anything with it. So I am now going to quickly pop onto YouTube just to see if I am actually streaming live. So I may have to put my sound on 0 and just see what is going on, because I'm not altogether sure that I am actually live. So let's see. So I started this. No, okay. I might have to stop this and start it from my YouTube studio a moment. Content, scheduled, no, live, apply, no, live, am I live? I am not live, I don't think. So, I'm not sure how to do this. If I am live, if someone could comment, that would be amazing, because I genuinely have no idea what's going on. And I'm not altogether sure how I sort it out. Oh, I am live. Excellent. Right, okay. Thank you. Oh. Everything eventually works its way out. If you can hear me, do comment in the comments just so that I know that I am not just wittering on and nobody can hear anything, which, let's face it, I didn't check my sound because I just thought I'd swap on and see what happens. So let me, actually what I could do is I could put it on here and just have a little look to see if it is working and there is sound. It is. Hurrah. Right, okay. I will now commence again. Yes, so sketching is something we focus on a lot in the Smart Art Academy, and I have a little sketch club as well, which gives you hints and general prompts. And anyway, that's by the by. I just thought that if you're scared of something, you should do it. And I had planned on doing this and recording it and then just putting it up into YouTube. And then I thought, what the hell, why don't we just do it live? Because that's not scary at all, is it? You know what I'm like. So I've got this little chili pepper. I think it's an appropriate subject because it's scary and chilies are hot and a little bit spicy and scary. And I've got this beautiful leather-bound little sketchbook, like I say, with this waxy parchment paper in it. I'm really not 100% sure whether it is vellum, gosh, can't even speak, or parchment. It's quite thick and very waxy. But the whole thing about the fun and games in the Smart Art Academy is experimentation, because that can be quite fun. So I'm going to use some gouache. So this is a little gouache palette that I take everywhere with me. So I'll do that in a moment. But what I'm going to do first, and this is how we kind of do things a lot in the Academy anyways, I'm just going to, this is very square, that's obviously very long. So I'm going to be doing, just sketching out the shapes, and I'm just going to do that in pencil first. This is very scary actually. So okay, let me do some comparative measurements here. So that's quite long, isn't it? And we've got how many stalks are in the pepper? 2, 3, 3.5. So that would mean there's 4.5. So if I do, this is the top end, this is the bottom end of my pepper. I'm going to do it so that it's kind of a little bit extra, and then this bit to this bit is going to be quartered. I like doing things in simple shapes. So that's kind of going to be my shape. And this is going to be the little green cap. The danger, of course, is doing this too big. And we're going to scooch that over to this little top end here where we've got the top of that stalk area. And then it's going to come down at a little bit of an angle. See, I think what I like the most about sketching is that it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. I think a lot of people get quite scared because they think, oh, you know, I need to produce this thing that's going to be a final thing, and it's going to be beautiful, and it needs to be Instagrammable and shown everywhere. And actually that's not true. All you need to do is have something that is representative. I'm going to just twist this slightly because I've drawn it on a different angle. I'm just going to match that up a little bit. Representative of what you are wanting to draw. Art is subjective. Everybody has a different opinion of art, and that's great. That's what the whole point of art is we've got these wonderful different views. If everybody liked the same thing, we'd all have the same print on the wall, and life would be incredibly dull. And I don't do dull. I went walking in the Pyrenees last week with a donkey. Yeah, many of you probably saw my live earlier today, yesterday even, where I did mention the fact that we did in fact lose the donkey. The donkey did find its way home. It's fine. It's nothing dramatic happened. Let me just move my circle camera a moment because I seem to have gone a little. And come back. There we go. Right, just because it's off-putting for me, you can just see my little camera set up here. So I've done a quick idea of the size, and I'm just, like I say, just sketching. I'm not sure whether I'm going to use pencil to do a tonal sketch. Normally I like doing blocking in tonal colours, but I think what I'm going to do is go straight in with colour. And someone said to me that if you're using parchment or vellum, gouache is a really good medium to use. I don't know, so we are going to try. So what I have got is where's my little paintbrush? And somewhere around here I have a pot of water. Oh, don't tell me I've not got my pot of water handy. Oh, that's ridiculous. Never mind, I do have something. Normally there's so many pots all over the place, but I appear to have all my oil painting stuff out, which is not ideal for what I was wanting. Looking around for a quick pot. And this is, you know, do things off the cuff. It's great. You can really get to play with different things. Right, so I've got a little paintbrush and I've got my gouache. And I'm going to just use some alizarin crimson, I think, and just basically block in the basic colours. So I'm just going to just put a little bit of alizarin crimson over where my pepper is. I'm going to start with that, and then we can see the thing with most artwork, and I think this goes across everything, and like I say, in the Academy we like to talk about the why. I'm very big on the why. Why are things happening? Why do things work? Why do you draw eyes like that? Why do you draw landscapes like that? Why are things blue in the distance? So many whys, I tell you. But I think if you understand the why, it kind of helps later. This is a very interesting surface. It is very waxy, but the gouache is kind of sitting on it. It's quite vibrant because it's not sinking in at all. It looks very pink on the camera. It's a lot redder than that. But my first layer is going to be just a light layer because I want to just basically block in that initial colour first. And then I'm going to look at where are my darks and my lights. So I want my lights, my darks first, I think. So I'm just going to come back over with some more alizarin crimson and just look at where my darks are and just sketch them, block them in. All art is layering up and shapes, just shapes. So we start with the first shape. We've got some darks going over the top there. And you just keep layering. I think that's what makes art so relaxing as well. You're just constantly layering. It's a process, and that process can be really, really, like I say, relaxing, which is just de-stressing as well. And let's face it, in this whatever's going on in the world at the moment, my goodness me, do we need to de-stress, because it's just a little bit crazy daisy. Whatever your beliefs, everything is crazy daisy at the moment. And art is a great way just to go and relax, really, and just play with colour. So this is still just red, but I'm just layering on up with the red straight from the tube effectively. So what I've got in there is, in this one here, is a wet alizarin crimson, and I'm just playing with it. I'm layering on, like I say, the colours. So I've got a little idea of where my colour maps are, where my lights and my darks are. Quite often I'll do a colour, like a tonal study, and then I'll put map colour over the top of a tonal study. But here we're going straight in with the actual colour. So I'm doing something a little bit different, because of course I'm going to do something different. I'm live. What could possibly go wrong? Story of my life. Hence donkey. Right, let me have a little bit of blue. So a good way to darken red, rather than using black, because black is quite it's a desaturating colour. So if you think about colours, black desaturates everything, whereas other colours will make that, ooh, that's an interesting hair. Other colours will create saturation, and we want nice strong colours here. I think I want this shadow underneath this pepper to be really dark, so I'm going to use a really lovely ultramarine blue initially. I may use some green in there later as well, just to, because of course, what is black? Black is all colours reflected. A bit like, so it depends whether you're into physics or addition or subtraction, really. So light itself, the white light, is all colours added together, gives you a white light. Whereas in paint, all colours added together gives you black, and white is the absence of all colour. So it's kind of the opposite, a bit like when you're using oils and watercolours, they work in the opposite direction. So with oils, I would add white or lighter colours on top of dark, and I'd start dark and then I lighten up, and I do the same with gouache as well. But with watercolours, it's the other way around. Your paper is your whitest element, and that can break your brain a little bit. Breaks mine anyway. I'm a bear of simple means. So I'm just going to get some very light blue under this. This is interesting, because this blue, it's almost, because it's not sinking in at all to the paper, it's giving a fascinating effect. Now I'm also going to put some of this blue into the darker bits of the red, just to deepen those darkest areas. And we've got, of course, some reflective light coming up from the table a little bit. So, and of course, we do all sorts of themes in the Academy, because I should talk a little bit about the Academy, because I love the Academy. I'm very proud of what it's doing and the people who are in it, because they're creating the most amazing things. And what we do is we focus on experimentation. So each month there's a theme, because I think it helps if you've got a theme to focus on. Plus it gives you an opportunity to try something you wouldn't necessarily try. This month we've been looking at abstract art. I don't do a great deal of abstract art, and abstract art isn't something you can really do tutorials for, because it's a feeling, it's how you want to interpret things. So it's very much the theory of it, and then we look at how you would create it, which is really nice. And some of the artwork that's come out of that has been absolutely amazing, and people's interpretations. And we have 2 calls a month where we look at sharing our work. And the work that was shared last night was just something else. It was so good. And it's all different as well. So everybody's idea of what is abstract was just completely different, which is fascinating. Next month, we're looking at, I'm going to put some little bit of green on now, just get that cap on. Next month, we're looking at night scenes. So we're going to have a look at how colour is desaturated at night, because of course the light of the sun is all of our sorry, concentrating on sketching rather than talking, is all of the light together to make light effectively. So when we've got night scenes, we've got the light of the moon, which of course is a reflection of the sun, and that's a very different light, and it diffuses. So it's like in water, when the shorter wave color wavelengths, the reds and the yellows, disappear quicker, so you're left with the greens and the blues. And at night time you don't have that saturation of color, so you end up with this amazing kind of grayscale, but there's still hints of color in there, but it's very much a grayscale color. I'm just going to mix up a very pale yellow, green, just to add on to this, the highlighted bits of this top of this pepper. So it's going to be quite interesting, and also looking at, you know, how do we look at moon reflections, and then street lights, because of course street lights are a yellow light, a very yellow light, so they give off a different hue. They make all the colours appear very differently. So understanding your colours and understanding how they work is really essential to doing night scenes. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to doing next month, which is only in a couple of weeks. Oh my word. It's just going so fast this year, it's crazy. So I'm just going to put some white areas on this stalk. It's very green at the moment. I want to dampen that down. I might add a little bit of yellow ochre in there as well. So yes, so we have a monthly theme, and then we have a chat about that. And there's always a theory video, because like I say, I like to know the why, and I think that's really super important. So we have a theory video, and then we usually have a tonal video, and then a color video, and then just a little bit of an experimental video. So for abstract, most of it was experimenting, because we were looking at collage and contrasts and how you create those contrasts. And so that was quite fun. I'm concentrating on sketching now. I'm going to add some of those highlights into that pepper now. So I've got some white here. It's actually a zinc white. Normally I use titanium white, but for whatever reason I couldn't find my titanium white tube, so we've got zinc white, and I'm just adding in some of these little shiny bits that we've got on this pepper. You'll notice I'm doing all of this in one brush because you don't actually need, and I'm sorry, this is going to sound absolutely just heretical, can't think of the word, totally wrong to a lot of people, but you don't need all the things. You might want all the things, and goodness me, I've collected an awful lot of things over the years, but you actually don't need all the things. You can do some amazing, amazing work with just a biro, and you don't need all the equipment. Obviously, it's nice, and if you can afford it, why not? But realistically, you only ever, I mean, I paint with a limited palette, and it's something we talk about in the academy a lot. So in the academy, I'll usually just use a red, a blue, a yellow, a black and a white, and that's it, because you don't need all the colours. And in actual fact, all the colours can be quite distracting, and you end up getting quite overwhelmed with everything that's there because it's just too much. Oh, that's going to turn pink. I don't really want to turn it pink. Where's my water? Let's get back this alizarin crimson a moment. Alizarin crimson is a cool red. It's nice for shadows, but I do want to zhuzh it up a bit, so I'm going to add some yellow in there. So if you want to brighten a red, often adding yellow is a better way to go than white, because if you add white, you're going to get pink. Let me put the top of my spray bottle back on and give this a little bit of a spray. I'm using my spray bottle as a water bottle because I didn't get a little cup of water out. Let me just spray that and just wet these. This is how you reactivate gouache paint. And reactivating the paint is like, this is why I like tube gouache a lot, because it dries out, but that's fine because you can reactivate it just by a spritz of water, and it's just as good. So I've now got a nice sort of orangey highlight now. It's looking a little muddy, so we'll just take that over here. And then I can put a little bit of this sort of a lighter red just on the top here, where we've got some light, but I don't want it to turn pink. I want it to be paler than our alizarin, but I don't want it to be... See, the problem is, of course, I'm now mixing that with a bit of blue, and that will, of course, give us green, which I absolutely do not want. So let's go back in with some alizarin and just zhuzh that red up a little bit. So when you're looking with water-based mediums like gouache, they reactivate when you add water. So you do have to be mindful of how much water you're putting in when you are mixing the colours. So if I put in a lot of water and put a yellow on top of a blue, that is going to give me a lovely green, which might not necessarily be the look I'm after. It might be, in which case fair, but often not quite. So if you use it straight from the tube, that then becomes a lot lighter. I'll put a bit of spectrum red, which is a warmer red, and therefore a little bit. Warm colours, of course, come forward, so for putting warm colours on the top of a painting is a good idea. I've no idea if I'm still live, by the way. Do let me know if I am. Feel free to not that I don't think I can see the chat, to be fair, so there's that. But do drop me a minute. Well, come and click on the links and subscribe and all the things. I forgot, I've got to advertise, haven't I? Absolutely useless I am. But if you click on the links, you'll be able to see all the things that the Smart Art Academy does, and you can come along and join us, because that would be awesome sauce. I'm going to put a little bit of blue underneath this bit here where we've got that black. Oh gosh, that's really, you can see the waxiness of this paper. It's really kind of, oh, and it blends. Oh, that's nice. This is a great thing about looking at experimenting, is you can find all sorts of things that work, you know, not as you would expect. Of course, it's always fun to do this sort of thing on your own without doing it live on TV, but you know, why not? So I'm just going to put a little bit, I know I said I don't use black, but I'm going to put a little tiny bit of black and just mix that in with the blue that's underneath, just for that core shadow that's underneath the pepper there, and a little tiny bit just on under there. The buzzing is my son phoning me, and I'm not answering because I'm a little bit busy doing this. So at some point he will either realise and hang up, which I think he has. I will phone him back. I'm not a bad mother, honest. Right, I'm just going to put a little bit more blue on my shadows. What I might do is put a little bit of yellow ochre on there as well, because that might be nice. And I might actually, gosh, I'm fair going for it now. I might actually put a bit of pen, because I do normally do a lot of sketching with pen, but I wasn't sure how it would react on this kind of surface. But as we know, there is only one way to find out, and that is to give it a go. Right, let's have a look at putting a little bit of white just under that. Oh, he's obviously very insistent that he needs to speak to me. I will phone him, like I say, I will phone him back in a moment. Right, I'm just going to put some little highlights on. Of course, all these people who are going to be watching this are going, oh my goodness, you're not picking up my... He's fine. He's literally just been sent a message saying he's getting a birthday present soon. It's not his birthday yet, I hasten to add, but you know. Right, so I'm putting a little bit of highlight up there, just lightening, and this is turning it a little bit pink, which I don't really want it to do, but let me just message him back and say, there we go. That's better. And I'm just going to just add a little bit of dark red on here, just where we've got the darker lights. And it is just building up layer after layer after layer. And just observation and playing. So that really is, that is a first attempt on the scary sketchbook. I'm going to get a little bit of a black pen. This is a black permanent ink. It's a refillable one by Tom Studios. I quite like it because I like the fact that it's refillable. I don't know whether it will work on this parchment paper. Let's just put a little scribble on. Interesting. It doesn't like working on this. Must be the waxy nature. I wonder what will work. I wonder if it'll be more of a Sharpie job. I wonder if I've got a Sharpie handy. I don't think I have. I do, however, have some other permanent markers. So let's have a little play with one of these and see if this works better. Ah, this works better. This is a slightly darker marker. Right, so let's do a little bit of zhuzhing with the dark. I'm just going to put a little bit of a line down here. Of course, the paint is still a little bit wet, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. But if you want to learn more, and if you want to have a play with some techniques and just finding the why of things, then come along to the Smart Art Academy, or even the little sketching club where you just get a little email and some little monthly challenges and things. And it would be great to see you. I'm going to call this quits for now. This has been a fun experiment. I wonder what it looks like on the other side. No, it doesn't go through at all. And that looks quite nice and bright, actually. Yeah, I quite like that. I may do some more. Have fun. It's been great spending this time with you. Hopefully you have enjoyed it, and I will see you again on another workshop. Oh, we've got a workshop actually. We're doing, let me bear with, I will show you what we're doing. We're doing water droplets. So all sorts of things to do with water droplets. And that's going to be on the 29th of September. So if it's past the 29th of September, sorry, but you can get it on the replay or in the VIP upgrade. But if it isn't the 29th of September yet, do go and register, and it'll be great to see you. There'll be a link in the Dewberry once I've figured out how on earth to do that. It's been great sketching with you, and I'd love to see your sketches too. What are you afraid of, and what do you like trying that's a little bit new? I'm so happy that I have done the first page in this rather lovely little sketchbook, and I look forward to doing many more. See you soon. Bye. Now I've got to try and stop streaming, of course, while reaching over. All good fun. See you soon.